Business is war, but instead of fighting for territory, gold, and princesses, we fight for market shares, revenue, and clients. Here's what Julius Caesar, Alexander the Great, and Steve Jobs all have in common. Listen, if you're seeing this video, it's not because you want to earn some little side income, but because you want to dominate the market that you're in and beat your competition. You want to execute quicker, better, and greater than your competition does because you understand that business is a zero-sum game. Every time you close a client, your competition loses a client. Every day you procrastinate is a day where your potential customers buy from your competition, until your thriving blue ocean full of opportunities turns into a red ocean where businesses compete head-to-head on price or guarantees. According to the blue ocean strategy, businesses that dominate their market on average have 350% higher profit margins and 240% higher revenue growth. In 2023, I had a new video idea for one of my brands, We Are Stoa. Nobody had done it before, but I was sure that it could work. It took me 60 minutes to make that video, and after uploading that video, it gained 8.9 million views, of which 516 viewers decided to follow me. Or in December of 2024, me and my client Oscar Patel decided to launch a new marketing campaign for one of our products. Our competitors like Hamza and the Belmar brothers and a bunch of other gurus were promising people to make them more attractive through little tips and tricks and techniques and products. We deleted the uncomfortable tips and tricks and products and replaced them with healthy habits, telling people that beauty is the result of health, something that nobody in the male self-improvement market has ever tried before. By January of 2025, we had surpassed both Hamza and the Belmar brothers with our school community. And that same paid community became the world's highest grossing health community in the whole entire world. Here is how you dominate a market. Number 1, raise the bar. The reason why artists like Kanye West take over their industry is not because they have delusion or self-belief, but simply because they have a different standard than everybody else. They couldn't bear the pain to see somebody else to be number 1 and see themselves to be number 2. In 1519, one of the Spanish conquerors, Hernan Cortés, was ordered to go to America and take over the Aztec Empire. When they arrived at the order, Cortés ordered his scouts to take a look at the Aztec Empire, and when they came back, they reported that the Aztec army outnumbered the Spanish army by at least 100 to 1, which means every single Spanish soldier needed to kill 100 Aztec men. You can imagine that fear started to spread among the entire Spanish army. They thought it wasn't possible. What if we get killed? What if we get murdered? What if we get captivated? What if we never come back to our family, to our children and wives? The Spanish army thought about retreat, and when Hernan Cortés found that out, he had only one single option: to turn around the tables and possibly win against the Aztec Empire. Hernan Cortés ordered his men to burn their own boats, basically burning down every possibility for retreat, which means now their standard wasn't either we win or we retreat to our families with shame, but either we win or we die and we will never see our families again. The tables started to turn, their fear started to turn into anger, their frustration started to turn into bloodlust. There was nothing and nobody left that could stop them now from marching into the Aztec Empire. In 1521, Hernan Cortés and his Spanish army of 600 men marched into the capital of the Aztec Empire, Tenochtitlan, and therefore the Aztec Empire fell. The Spanish army was victorious, and that was because human beings will rarely achieve their goals, but they will never, ever go under their standards. The Spanish army won not because they wanted to win, but because they couldn't bear the pain of death. When Steve Jobs decided to burn down the iPod that he had just launched a couple of years ago, he didn't do that because he wanted to take over the tech space, but he couldn't bear the pain to see somebody else take over the tech space and become number 1 because he wanted to do it. It was his standard to win. Number 2, speed. Speed is probably one of the most misunderstood factors in business. It's not about how much you work, and it's not about how fast you execute or how many hours you put in every single day. It is about how many ideas can you execute on in comparison to your competitors. By the time Oscar Patel and I have tried dozens of ideas on Instagram Reels, on Instagram Stories, inside the DMs, in YouTube videos, landing pages, emails, VSLs, Our competitors were 30 ideas behind, and we became better and better idea by idea because we understood what worked and what didn't, and were then left with what worked and we just dropped what didn't. So answer this: what is the time that you need between idea and execution, and how can you reduce it? What is the amount of money that you need to invest in order to try out a new idea, and how can you reduce it? Blockbuster, every time they wanted to introduce a new movie into their collection, they first needed to watch the movie, evaluate the movie, check the movie, negotiate prices, order stock, send it to some of their stores, wait a couple of weeks to then look at the amount of sales that they made, and then decide whether they would keep the movies in their stores or not. That is incredibly expensive, and it takes an incredible amount of time. Netflix, on the other side, could literally just watch a movie or TV series, send an email, upload it then to their platform, and then test it for a couple of weeks and literally have a real-time view on how long watched that movie and how many people were interested in watching that movie. They could even go so far to look at all the search histories of what movies got searched on Netflix and what movies didn't get searched, so they could literally just target the movies that they didn't have in stock but they got searched for millions of times. They reduced time and cost of execution, and Blockbuster is now dead. Number 3 is Omniscient Awareness. You can have anything you want in life if you see the world for what it is and not for what you want it to be. How well do you know your market? How well do you know your business? How well do you know your competition, your finances, yourself? That is a question you should ask yourself, because in 1992, Pepsi launched a new product that they called Crystal Pepsi. It was the same taste as a Pepsi, but it was crystal clear, which means it looked like sparkling water or Sprite, but it tasted like cola. Nobody had done it before, and it was a completely unique thing, which is why Pepsi thought that it was going to perform. But the reason nobody had done it before was because nobody asked for a crystal clear Pepsi, because everybody was confused. It just didn't look delicious. 2 years later, the crystal clear Pepsi got torn out of the shelves because nobody bought it, and the product ultimately flopped. Here's why. I've scaled a lot of info businesses and personal brands in my lifetime. I've probably uploaded more than 500 pieces of content nowadays. And the most common reason why entrepreneurs get stuck is because they always try to do something new without even testing if that new thing that they're trying to introduce is even in demand. So here's how to do it. First, I searched up all brands and creators in my niche, and I literally saved all of their viral videos in a folder. Second, I would look at these viral videos to look at patterns. I saw that one of the creators had videos that were about putting your phone down, reducing your screen time, and taking more time to spend more time in real life with your relatives, your friends and family, and the people who are the dearest to you. I saw that these videos actually performed 40 to 100x better than the usual average views that he had on his other videos on Instagram, which means it was an idea that was in demand. The only thing that I needed to do now was step 3, which was to add my own twist to it. Now, a lot of people tell you to just copy other people's ideas and just add your own twist to it, but nobody actually tells you how to do it. There's a book called The Blue Ocean Strategy, and in that book he introduces a new strategy that is called ERRC. What can you eliminate, reduce, raise, and create? So I replaced the aspect of spending time in real life with your loved ones with focusing on your fitness and on your business. I deleted the hooks and I raised the video duration, and I added a call to action that told people that if they followed me, I would post a video a day to help them reduce their screen time day in, day out. And that led to more than 500,000 followers generated through a singular reel on Instagram. Number 4, a client magnet. A key variable to dominate your market is to move and shape the market completely to your liking. Gaining influence to put your products in front of as many people as possible is the key factor that is going to differentiate you from your competition. Because you can build the best business in the world, but at the end of the day, all 3 steps from before will be completely irrelevant unless you master this. Because no matter how great your business is, if nobody knows it exists, you won't make any sales. If you look at any person who ever dominated the market, whether it's Elon Musk with Tesla or whether it's Steve Jobs with Apple, they both paid attention to 4 variables to gain influence over their market and start selling their products completely on autopilot. Steve Jobs was a master at communication and public speaking. He would hold speeches in front of hundreds, if not thousands of reporters, so that these reporters would write great articles about their new product in order to spread Apple like a wildfire. Elon Musk, for example, would strike controversy with his new custom features that he would add to a Tesla that would then go viral on Twitter, like for example adding a custom horn. I spent the last 2 years uploading more than 500 reels on Instagram and helping dozens of creators dominate their market in order to learn the framework that I'm about to show you. Because those who don't know the framework simply don't get views. They keep posting and posting and think as long as they will just stay consistent, one day they will magically attract a lot of views. And of course they do that because every single viral creator out there tells you to do that. But at the end of the day, for every single creator that posted consistently and went viral, there is a whole graveyard of thousands of creators who didn't. And there is something else that differentiates them and is not being authentic. Nobody buys from you because they value your authenticity. They buy from you because they like you. Do you really think that an influential man like Elon Musk grew his Twitter to more than 200 million followers because he was authentic? The framework that I'm talking about is called ACID. Attract, sell, indoctrinate, and dominate. The first step is to attract. The goal of the first step is literally just to gain views so that later on you can turn these views into buyers. And the second step is to sell. When I started to scale other people's personal brands, I didn't know what to sell. I was paralyzed. I thought, what if people didn't like it? Until I figured that all I need to do is to ask them what they want. First, I built a form of 17 questions that would answer every question to determine what they wanted, why they couldn't get there, and how I could help them get there. And for answering those questions, I would give them a free template in return. Then I built the exact product that they wanted from me to get from where they are to where they wanted to get, and I used every single pain point that they gave me inside these 17 questions and just tried marketing to all of these pain points until I found out which pain points hit the hardest and which the least, and then I just started to hit the hardest. Because they gave me all their desires and fears and challenges inside these 17 questions. And now I knew exactly what to say in sales calls, what to write in my emails, what to say in my hooks, and what to write in my VSL. Long story short, we beat Hamza and the Belmar brothers and surpassed them within 3 months and won the school games and became the world's highest grossing health community in the whole world. By the way, if you want the template to the 17 questions on what product to build and how to market it to your audience, I have it in my files because I use it for my clients all the time. I will leave a link to that file in the description. And the third step is to indoctrinate. And while accepting responsibility is essential to gaining control of one's own life, assuring others they are not responsible is essential to gaining influence over theirs. One need to look no further than politics to see this powerful game played at its best. What sounds like a quote from an evil dictator is a quote by Russell Brunson, the founder of ClickFunnels. Let me explain it this way. People will always think that your products will not work for them because of internal or external forces. An internal force could be that they're not disciplined enough, or an external force could be that they are working a 9 to 5 and they simply don't have enough time. Only when you prove to a viewer that their internal and external forces are completely irrelevant will you turn somebody from a viewer into a buyer. So now it is your task to take these forces as your own responsibilities, put them on your own shoulders, and prove to people that despite all their forces, whether it's internal forces like discipline or external forces like a lack of time, they can still make it with your product. The fourth step is to dominate with a team. Dominance is not built through hiring an army of mercenaries, meaning people who just show up to your business and work for you because of money, but by building a team of loyal A players. I remember it clear as day when I was working with one of my clients and we launched a new product for him, and the product had a 14-day money-back guarantee. It was a coaching, and the coaching was incredibly well. It was really well structured and really well made. But the design of the product was horrible. So horrible that everybody who joined the community just thought that it was just a low quality product and it wasn't really valuable at all. And we realized that quite quickly, but we realized that in order to redesign the product, we would take days and we were losing thousands of dollars every single day because people were making use of our guarantee because they thought that our product was low quality. And I remember it was 11 p.m. The churn rate was through the roof. I was tired. I was hungry. I just wanted to go to sleep. And I hit my designer up with a call. I told him and I said, hey, we need to get these designs done as soon as possible. We're literally losing thousands of dollars by the day. And it was because of his loyalty and his connection that he was able to save us thousands of dollars. I woke up the next morning, I checked my phone, and I saw a WhatsApp message that said, done. All 17 designs were done. and we were able to reduce the churn rate overnight. He pulled an all-nighter, and here is why. If you want somebody to be as loyal to you as my designer was to our business, then this is what you need to do. There's something that's called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it consists of physiological needs, safety and security, love and belonging, self-esteem, and self-actualization. Physiological needs are quite simple: breathing, food, water, shelter, clothing, and sleep. What this means is just money. Safety and security is just money for a longer time frame, knowing that this person won't get fired in 2 months because your business is not running well. The next level is love and belonging, and here's where you actually go from a mercenary to an actual A player. Sense of connection. You can build a great connection to your employees by having extra activities outside of your business. For example, there's a lot of businesses inside the info space that introduce philanthropy. They would take 10% of a profit that they made every single year, and then the whole team would come together and build a connection over trying to find out who to give these donations to. And they would build schools, they would donate food, and they would actually realize that what we're doing is amazing, and they managed to achieve that all together. Another idea is Iman Gadzhi's Educate company. If you look at Educate, there's this yearly event that they do every single time of running a marathon or going to a High Rocks, and every single time that they do that, his entire team comes together at wherever they do these runs or these challenges, and they all overcome this huge mammoth of a mountain of a challenge, like a marathon, as a team. That is how you build a connection. The next step is self-esteem, confidence, achievement, respect of others, and the need to be a unique individual. The way you achieve self-esteem is through intrinsic motivators, by giving somebody the autonomy to master their craft. Giving somebody the autonomy to master their craft means stepping out of their way and giving them enough responsibility and enough room so that they can develop into mastering their own craft. If I'm going to tell my editor exactly what to do in every single video without leaving him room to try out his own ideas, he will never master his craft because he will never be able to try out new ideas. The next step is self-actualization. Most businesses, and I'm talking 99.99999%, never ever get to this part because it requires morality. Most coaches and consultants and agency owners don't get their clients any results, and they have no morality. So you need a product. You need to make sure that your employees know, hey, if I help my boss get a new client, that client's life will change completely. The other thing is purpose. Does your company actually follow a purpose? For example, helping people with your coaching program, or is the purpose nothing but money? Well, if your purpose is money, then you'll attract people whose purpose is just money. Mercenaries. Steve Jobs attracted a bunch of viewers through his presentations, sold a product that sold itself, used ad openers like Here's to the Crazy Ones to turn his viewers into actual buyers, and dominated his competition through top A player talent like Johnny Ive, who designed products that today we know as the iPhone, the iPad, the Apple Watch, and the MacBook. We managed to have an amazing team of A players, managed to have an audience of buyers, and we get millions of views every single month that we could then turn into buyers and present our product to that would solve their problem and get them from where they are to where they wanted to get. Selling becomes easy once you dominate your market. This was the entire playbook on how to dominate your market. If you're in a situation like me from a couple of years ago, you either have no viewers at all or no audience of buyers. So if you want a full in-depth breakdown on the asset framework, I actually recorded an entire video on YouTube on how to build an audience of more than 10,000 buyers, starting from 0 followers in excruciating detail. It is the reason why today I approach scaling personal brands and businesses completely differently. If that sounds of any interest to you, the video will be up here. I appreciate your time, and I hope I could help you out. Bye-bye.